Welcome to our college briefing program, where we dive into the latest happenings around the globe with a sprinkle of zest and a dash of pizzazz. Today, we've got a smorgasbord of stories that are as diverse as they are intriguing. So, buckle up as we take you on a whirlwind tour of recent developments that are making waves, from groundbreaking policy shifts in Pakistan to athletic records being smashed and urgent public health concerns in Canada. First up, Pakistan is making headlines with its strategic pivot towards the cannabis market, aiming to give its economy a much-needed jolt. In a bold move, the country has laid down a comprehensive legal framework to govern the cannabis trade, eyeing a significant boost in its foreign exchange reserves. Meanwhile, over in Lithuania, Mykolas Alekna is redefining the limits of human potential by shattering the discus throw world record, a feat that had stood unchallenged since 1986. But it's not all rosy. Canada is grappling with a pressing public health crisis, as a new study reveals an alarming surge in opioid-related deaths among young adults. Turning our gaze to the legal and educational arenas, we find Arizona upholding a near-total abortion ban rooted in a law from 1864, while teachers in Western Australia are gearing up for a strike over pay and conditions. And let's not forget the students at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, who are rallying for greater transparency and support from their university in the wake of a tragedy. These stories highlight the ongoing battles for rights, well-being, and justice across different sectors of society. But wait, there's more. From the bustling runways of Brisbane to the historic courthouses of New York, and on to the philanthropic efforts in Utah, we're covering a gamut of stories that showcase the diverse tapestry of human experience. Whether it's a community's fight against noise pollution, the accountability of a former president, or the generosity towards children with special needs, these narratives remind us of the complexities, challenges, and compassion that define our world. So, stay tuned as we delve deeper into these fascinating stories, offering insights and perspectives that you won't want to miss. Please continue watching for detailed content, and let's unravel the complexities of these developments together. In a world that constantly evolves, with each corner of the globe grappling with its unique challenges and breakthroughs, recent news highlights the multifaceted nature of global developments. From Pakistan's strategic pivot in agricultural policy to a historic athletic achievement in Lithuania, and a pressing public health crisis in Canada, these stories weave a tapestry of human endeavor, resilience, and the urgent need for policy adaptation. Nikkei Asia reports that Pakistan, in a bold move to revitalize its economy, has laid down a comprehensive legal framework to govern the cannabis trade. This decision comes after the government's green light for the herb's industrial use back in 2020, aiming to tap into the burgeoning global cannabis market. With plans to establish a regulatory body to oversee the issuance of licenses to growers and sellers, and to designate specific regions for cultivation, Pakistan is eyeing a significant boost in its foreign exchange reserves. The country's foray into the cannabis market is not just an economic venture, it's a strategic attempt to break free from the shackles of foreign loans and bailouts, particularly from the International Monetary Fund. By ramping up exports and raising taxes through this new industry, Pakistan hopes to chart a more self-reliant and prosperous future. Meanwhile, in the world of athletics, a remarkable feat was achieved by Lithuania's Mykolas Alekna, as reported by the Associated Press. At the Oklahoma Throw Series competition, Alekna shattered the discus throw world record that had stood unchallenged since 1986. Launching the discus a staggering 243 feet, 11 inches, 74.35 meters, away, he eclipsed the previous record set by Germany's Jürgen Schult. This achievement, pending ratification, not only highlights Alekna's extraordinary talent but also places him among the elite athletes in the history of the sport. Currently a junior at the University of California, Alekna has already decorated his career with medals from the World Outdoor Championships, signaling a bright future ahead in discus throw. On a more somber note, the Toronto Star brings attention to a growing public health crisis in Canada, where a new study from the University of Toronto reveals an alarming surge in opioid-related deaths among young adults. In 2021, opioids were responsible for a quarter of all deaths among Canadians in their 20s and 30s, with the annual number of opioid-related fatalities doubling to 6,200 between 2019 and the end of 2021. This spike in deaths is particularly pronounced in the prairies, with Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta bearing the brunt of the crisis. Researchers attribute this surge to diminished access to harm reduction programs and an increase in the toxicity of the drug supply, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The study, published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal, calls for urgent, targeted harm reduction policies to mitigate this devastating trend. These stories, from different corners of the world, underscore the dynamic and often unpredictable nature of global developments. Pakistan's venture into the cannabis market, Mikola Zelekna's record-breaking throw, and Canada's battle against opioid-related deaths all reflect the diverse challenges and achievements that define our contemporary world. Whether it's through economic innovation, athletic excellence, or addressing public health crises, these developments highlight the importance of adaptability, resilience, and proactive policymaking in navigating the complexities of the 21st century. In an era where the Civil War raged and fortune seekers hunted for gold, a law was born that would shape Arizona's stance on abortion for centuries to come. The Associated Press reports that the Arizona Supreme Court recently upheld a ban on almost all abortions, a law that traces its origins back to 1864. This stringent legislation, which lacks exceptions for rape or incest, criminalizes the administration of medicinal substances intended to induce miscarriage. Dubbed as zombie law, it has been resurrected from the annals of history to become one of the strictest abortion bans in the United States. This development is not unique to Arizona. Similar century-old restrictions, passed by all-male legislatures at a time when women were disenfranchised, are influencing post-Roe abortion policies across several states, including Alabama, Arkansas, Michigan, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. While some states have moved to repeal these archaic laws, others face legal challenges, and abortion rights advocates are sounding the alarm about the potential national impact of another 19th-century law, the Comstock Act. Halfway across the globe, in Western Australia, teachers are gearing up for a different kind of battle. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports that the State School Teachers Union of WA, STUWA, has rejected a second pay and conditions offer from the state government, leading to plans for a half-day strike. The government proposed an 11% pay increase over 3 years, but the union is holding out for 12% over 2 years, alongside improvements to workplace conditions and measures to address the burdensome workloads faced by teachers. With the strike set for April 23, Education Minister Tony Butty is hopeful for a resolution, even as the government introduces a cost-of-living relief package for families. This standoff highlights the ongoing tensions between educators and the state over fair compensation and the quality of the working environment in schools. Meanwhile, at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, a whistleblower is leveraging social media to demand greater transparency and communication between the university and its students. Yahoo US shares the story of an anonymous Instagram account, the UL Whistleblower, which has emerged in the wake of a student's suicide. The account is calling for increased funding for various departments and research groups, a review of student fees, and improvements to the state of dormitories, including addressing maintenance issues and black mold. The UL Whistleblower has garnered significant support and is organizing a student protest over the university's handling of the tragedy. This movement underscores the growing frustration among students over the lack of communication and support from their educational institutions, highlighting a broader issue of mental health and well-being on college campuses. From the historical resurrection of abortion laws in Arizona to the contemporary struggles of teachers in Western Australia and student activists in Louisiana, these stories reflect a common theme of communities fighting for their rights and well-being. Whether it's challenging outdated legislation, advocating for fair compensation and working conditions, or demanding transparency and support from educational institutions, these battles underscore the enduring spirit of advocacy and the ongoing quest for justice and equity in different corners of the world. In the bustling city of Brisbane, the serene skies are being disrupted by the constant hum and roar of airplanes, much to the dismay of local residents. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that Air Services Australia, the entity responsible for controlling air traffic at Brisbane Airport, finds itself embroiled in controversy. The Brisbane Flight Path Community Alliance accuses the organisation of misleading the federal government about the impact of the airport's second runway. Allegedly, corners were cut, and noise comparison reports were doctored to secure approval for the runway without adequate consultation or scrutiny. The community's outcry has been loud and clear, demanding the implementation of a night curfew and a flight cap to mitigate the relentless noise pollution. An economist's stark estimation paints a grim picture, suggesting that a night curfew could slash property values by a staggering $4 billion to $7 billion. This tale of disrupted tranquility and the quest for peaceful skies highlights the ongoing struggle between urban development and the preservation of community well-being. Across the seas, in New York, a different kind of drama unfolds, one that could only be scripted in the annals of American politics. The BBC brings to light the unprecedented trial of former U.S. President Donald Trump, marking the first time a former president will stand trial in a criminal case. Trump faces accusations of falsifying business records to conceal a hush money payment made to Stormy Daniels, a former adult film star, just before the 2016 election. The stakes are high for the 77-year-old, who could face up to 4 years in jail, though a fine might be the more likely outcome. The trial, expected to last between 6 to 8 weeks, could potentially see Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, become a convicted felon before the November election. This historic trial captivates not just the American public but the world at large, as it watches a former leader grapple with the scales of justice. Meanwhile, in a heartwarming turn of events, Yahoo US shines a light on Ronnie Daniel, the executive director of the Children First Education Fund, who is championing a noble cause. Daniel's mission is to provide scholarships for students with special needs, a demographic often overlooked and underserved by public schools. Funded by private donations, these scholarships are bolstered by state income tax credits provided by the Utah State Legislature, showcasing a community's commitment to supporting its most vulnerable members. So far, $4.1 million has been raised towards this commendable endeavor, with a $5.9 million annual limit on tax credits. This initiative not only offers a lifeline to students in need but also exemplifies the power of community and government coming together to make a tangible difference in the lives of young learners. Each of these stories, from the bustling runways of Brisbane to the historic courthouses of New York, and the philanthropic efforts in Utah, encapsulates the diverse tapestry of human experience. Whether it's a community's fight against noise pollution, the accountability of a former president, or the generosity of a community towards its children, these narratives remind us of the complexities, challenges, and compassion that define our world. In a recent study that has sent shockwaves through communities across Canada, it's been reported by the Toronto Star that opioids are now responsible for 1 in every 4 deaths among young adults aged 20 to 39. This alarming statistic is part of a larger, grim picture where opioid-related fatalities have doubled since 2019, escalating from 3,007 to a staggering 6,222 deaths. The research, conducted by Unity Health Toronto, highlights a crisis that has particularly ravaged the provinces of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, witnessing a 387% and 195% increase in deaths due to overdose, respectively. The impact is most pronounced among individuals in their 30s, where opioids were the cause of 1 in 3 deaths. This dire situation underscores the urgent need for effective interventions and support systems to combat the opioid epidemic that is claiming the lives of young Canadians at an unprecedented rate. On a different note, Bloomberg brings us news from the financial world where Apollo Global Management has been making significant strides in Asia. Since the onset of 2022, Apollo has successfully raised an impressive $35 billion from the region, marking a significant step in its expansion efforts. The investment giant has been keenly focusing on insurers and institutions managing retirement funds, particularly targeting countries like Japan and Australia. To bolster its presence, Apollo has been ramping up its investment team in the region, adding over 50 investment staff since 2021. A notable highlight of this expansion was Apollo's $500 million commitment to an Asia-Pacific credit strategy, anchored by Hostplus, one of Australia's largest superannuation funds. This move not only signifies Apollo's aggressive growth strategy in Asia but also underscores the region's growing importance as a hub for global investment activities. Switching gears to the sports arena, the Associated Press has exciting news for hockey fans, especially those rooting for the Anaheim Ducks. Cutter Gauthier, the NCAA's leading scorer, who has made history by scoring the most goals in the last 25 years, has inked a 3-year, entry-level contract with the Ducks. This move comes after the Ducks acquired Gauthier's rights from the Philadelphia Flyers in a trade involving defenseman Jamie Drysdale and a 2025 second-round pick. Gauthier's reluctance to sign, train, or communicate with the Flyers led to this significant trade, paving the way for his anticipated debut in the NHL, likely on Thursday. With 38 goals to his name, Gauthier has not only tied with Ryan Pottlney for the most goals by a collegiate player in the last 25 seasons but was also a finalist for the Hobey Baker Award. His remarkable performance helped Team USA clinch a gold medal at the World Junior Championship. Gauthier's addition to the Ducks marks him as the 5th top 10 pick since the 2019 draft to join the team, signaling a promising future for the Ducks as they bolster their roster with young, dynamic talent. These stories, ranging from a public health crisis in Canada to strategic financial expansions in Asia, and onto the ice rinks of the NHL, showcase the diverse and dynamic nature of events shaping our world today. Each narrative, whether it's the battle against a deadly epidemic, the ambitious growth of a global investment firm, or the promising career of a young athlete, reflects the complex tapestry of challenges and achievements that define our contemporary society. In a striking revelation that seems to have leaped right out of the annals of prehistoric Australia, scientists from Flinders University have made an extraordinary discovery, unearthing 3 new species of extinct kangaroos. As reported by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, these aren't just any ordinary marsupials. The largest among them weighed a whopping 160 kilograms, dwarfing the current heavyweight champion of the kangaroo world, the red kangaroo, by double. These gentle giants roamed the Australian landscape approximately 40,000 years ago, a time when human hunters had not yet posed a threat to their existence. This groundbreaking research not only expands the database of known species but also opens up thrilling possibilities in the realm of science, with the lead researcher hinting at the potential to resurrect these magnificent creatures through the wonders of genetic technology. Imagine, if you will, the return of these colossal kangaroos, bounding once again through the Australian bush, a testament to the power of science to bridge the gap between the past and the future. Turning from the ancient past to the pressing issues of the present, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights a significant movement within the Indigenous communities of Australia. Following the disappointing outcome of the Voice to Parliament referendum last year, Indigenous activists are advocating for a more comprehensive education on Indigenous history, culture, and issues within Australian schools. Sherry Sibasato, a passionate Ngikina and Bardi woman, lamented the lack of awareness around Indigenous issues during the debates surrounding the referendum. She, along with others like Jodie Bell, a Buchela Jagera woman, is calling for an educational overhaul that would see Indigenous education deeply embedded at all levels of schooling. They envision a curriculum that not only educates but also fosters understanding and respect for the rich cultural and linguistic diversity of Indigenous tribes across Australia. This movement towards truth-telling through education is seen as a vital step towards healing and reconciliation, offering a path forward in acknowledging and celebrating the profound contributions of Indigenous peoples to Australian society. On a different note, the BBC brings to light a study from Ohio State University that challenges a common coping mechanism for anger. Contrary to the popular belief that venting one's frustrations can be cathartic, this comprehensive analysis of 154 studies on anger management suggests otherwise. Dr. Sofik Jervik, the study's lead author, posits that venting may actually do more harm than good, failing to reduce anger and potentially exacerbating the situation. Instead, the study recommends exploring alternative strategies for managing anger, advocating for methods that address the root causes of anger rather than merely expressing it. This revelation prompts a re-evaluation of how we deal with anger, suggesting that finding constructive ways to manage this powerful emotion could lead to healthier interpersonal relationships and a more peaceful inner life. From the ancient landscapes of Australia, where giant kangaroos once roamed, to the contemporary classrooms where the next generation learns about the rich tapestry of Indigenous culture, and into the personal realms of our emotional well-being, these stories weave together a narrative of discovery, understanding, and growth. They remind us of the power of knowledge, whether it's uncovering the secrets of the past, embracing the complexity of the present, or navigating the tumultuous waters of our emotions. In each of these realms, the pursuit of understanding serves as a beacon, guiding us towards a more enlightened and compassionate world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.